Thank you very much, everyone. I'm very, very glad and very honored to be here in my actually home country. So before we go into the theme, right? Let's start. Everyone knows this lady. This is Michelle Obama, and she was born in Chicago, and she was actually born in a very conventional family. And the mom was at home. The father used to work abroad, outside, and actually, you know, the dinner was always at the table at night. And actually, Michelle was a gifted lady, and the same happened to her brother. So both were selected actually, and they were offered the opportunity to attend a secondary school for gifted people. And actually, you know, that school was quite far away from Chicago. Actually, it took them to take a commuting time of 3 hours every day to attend that school. But she took the chance, and actually she said, yes, I go for it. And the same did her brother. So from there, actually, her path actually completely changed from being a Chicago lady that could have grown very, very different. She opened the path to a new world. So actually from there, she went to Princeton. And in Princeton, she actually graduated with a major in sociology and also in a minor in African American studies. And from there, she moved to Harvard. In Harvard, she majored in law. She was a doctor jura. And actually, after that, she started working in a law company. She met Barack Obama, and the rest I think we all know. They married 3 years later. They had 2 kids. And in 2009, Barack Obama became the first colored president of the United States. And with that, this lady became the first colored first lady of the United States. Now, for me, what is striking about Michelle Obama is, apart from her wonderful story and inspiring story, is actually that she has actually said many, many times that actually for her, education gave her opportunities that actually were far, far, far beyond what she would have ever imagined. And that is actually what for me was the CMA. When I started the journey with the CMA, I joined, I wanted to have an international certification, but what I didn't know was how far this certification was going to bring me. Let me introduce myself. This is me, this is Dado Alonso. I'm from León in Spain. I have more than 20 years finance experience, and out of that, a little bit more than half as finance director and as CFO. I was in Amazon when Amazon was actually opening Amazon Spain and Amazon Italy. I was also in Booking when we were conquering the US market. I was in OLX when it was actually growing more than 65% year over year. And now I'm in Azerion. Azerion is a global digital gaming and also digital advertising company. We just went listed. We went through an IPO in February this year. So this is me, and actually, you know, the same what I have learned throughout all my years, and I would like to pass a little bit of that. For me, what has been very, very important in my career is to remain relevant. I've been working in very, very fast environments. The more I started my career, the more I advanced, the more faster, and the faster those environments went. And you know, if I can pass a little bit of that to you, that would be my pleasure. And to remain relevant in very fast environments is extremely important, and for me that is what actually the CMA helped me with. But before we start, you know, I mean, it's my son is 11 years old, and my son is 11 years old, and actually since he's 4, I think he spends more time with the computer and with the app, with the tablet, than actually talking to me, to be very frank. So the digitalization, it's actually invading our lives. The new economy is all around. But that's not only our kids are already in the new economy, but actually us also as adults, we are also affected and invaded by all this new economy. We all, we don't buy books any longer only on online. We buy our groceries and we buy our fashion and we buy everything. And now after Corona, even more. So economy of, the new economy, the digitalization is around us, and we better know as finance professionals what this new economy is demanding from us, because I think it's good to know and to prepare ourselves. Now, everyone, we start in our career, we are accountants, and we are exposed to whatever, most of the business, I call the business, say, yeah, you are bean counters, you stop things, you are a blocker, and they actually try to ignore you or to find a way to find the solution without counting with finance, right? And the reality is that that happens, and you can imagine in very fast environments that even happens faster. So you better know how to become relevant for that business in order for them to come to you and be a part of the decision table. And what I've learned is that one thing that actually makes the difference is if you move to the co-pilot role, right? If all of a sudden the business starts seeing you as a business partner. But what does that mean? Everybody talks about, let's become a co-pilot, let's be business partner. Well, let me tell you an example. So just in my H&M or CNA, I was working in CNA. A normal, typical finance professional would see that, okay, my revenue of the small sizes in the stores is actually dropping. My inventories are getting higher. What would the typical accountant do? Okay, we record it, we assess what is the value change in the inventory, we close the books and we move to the next month, close. Well, the new business partner, the new finance professional would think about it in a different way. Because actually, in fact, the first indications of things when they go well and when they go bad, it's actually finance the one that sees them. So a business partner would see the same signals and would react in a different way. Would say, okay, what's going on? Would sit with the business, would see the big drivers, would see the real drivers for the business, and would find solutions together and would help monitoring that actually those solutions are working or are not working. Now the difference between the first example of the finance person that would have been named or nominated as being a counter, opposite to the one that is actually helping together with the business getting better results is a day of light. And that is actually where we need actually to be smart and to be fast to make the difference and position ourselves to be relevant for the business. Now, but how do we evolve actually? Because from the, especially to move from being accountants or to move from actually pure accountants to actually to a business partner, that's not easy. It's not easy. It requires hardcore skills. It requires soft skills. It requires negotiation skills. It requires influencing skills. And all of a sudden, what are you and how do you transition, right? As you can imagine, this is not easy, and it is even less easy when you are thinking about very fast environments. So I hope I can help you, or I can share a little bit my experience with you now, what has helped me in this transition. Now for me, the finance in the new economy, in this digital economy, is actually was actually very much helped by my CMA certification. The three elements that actually are most important in my experience in a very fast environment is, first and foremost, go fast. Go fast and add tangible value in a fast way to the business. The second element that actually made me remain relevant for the business was actually differentiation. How do I make myself different to the others? How can I bring this extra edge compared to everyone else that is actually around me? And I can tell you, me as a Spaniard, having only worked 3 years in Spain, and from those 3 years I was in Germany and in Luxembourg and in Amsterdam, I was always the minority. That's not easy, but it can be done. So you always need to find that edge to differentiate yourself, to remain relevant in the business and around you. And the third thing is actually open doors. So I'm a personality that, I go to a place, I open the door, and I get amazed. And perhaps I go this way, or perhaps I go the other way, but it's always a surprise. So these are the three elements that I would like to share with you. So the first thing is, as I said, so it's important to remain relevant in the new economy. And the first and foremost element that actually keeps you relevant is to go fast. This is absolutely critical. In very fast environments, the big problem is, or one of the big problems is that everything around you goes very fast. In the old economy, you have Unilever, and Unilever would know straight away who are their competitors. But in the new economy, that doesn't happen. You have one competitor here, you have another competitor there, and from every single corner that even you could not have imagined before, the next competitor is coming. Technology opens barriers, and there's actually no barrier. The users are there, and they are there for those to be connected. So being fast is actually adding competitive advantage to every company that is actually operating in this environment. That's why it's so important to be fast. Now, how does it translate being fast in very fast environments? The way it goes is you develop a prototype and you launch it in the market. It's not perfect, but you have it in the market. You are testing it already. You have the users. Because they are millions of users that can test your product, they will be the best ones positioned to tell you what works, what doesn't work. You don't need to have processes ahead or at front, just testing what might go wrong. The customer is going to tell you. So this is how it works. And then you go, you launch it, you test it, you fail, you learn from the failure, you repair, you launch again, and then you succeed. And the more you go and the faster you do it, the more opportunities you have to crack it and to get actually that big innovation that puts you one step ahead of your competition. So being fast is not a minor thing in these environments. It's actually a competitive advantage. Now, but how can finance be fast? Because now, obviously, everyone is thinking, wow, we have the close, and then the quarterly close, and then the this, and then the that. How can I be fast? And you have the step one, and the step two, and the process one, and the process two, and then the auditors. Well, being fast means, what I have experienced in the companies I've worked for, is actually being fast means two things. The one is simplification. Just imagine, and this is something that most probably has happened to all of us. So the salesman comes to you, and he comes with an idea of I don't know, a new contract. And before he starts opening the mouth, actually, you already start as a finance professional saying, oh, but you need to pay attention to this, and you need to comply with this. And before you have started, you have not even listened to the proposition. So, and no wonder the salesman will not come back to you, right? So the next time he has an idea, he will go to somebody else just to try the idea, right? So being fast means simplifying. So what I learned in booking actually was to apply the simplification in the Scrum way. Scrum is actually the methodology that they use for developing, and what they do is what I explained. So they do a prototype, they launch it in the market, they have A/B test, the market, the user will tell you what is good, what is bad, and then they go. Now, how finance can help with this Scrum technology or Scrum methodology is, what we did was to say, okay, what is the minimum requirement to launch the prototype? We know that if this goes in scale, we will need many, many, many more requirements, but if we comply with all these requirements today, we may not have the prototype on time. So you go with the minimum requirements, you launch it, and you comply and you agree with the business to comply with all the remaining if it goes live. So by that, you actually help the business and you become relevant. We did it all. This actually we did it with several projects. One of those was launching different payment methods, but many others. The second big element how finance can actually help the business going fast is actually adding value. And here's where actually the CMA certification helped me very much. So adding value in the business means actually to understand that you can make decisions using the 80-20 approach. You don't need to be perfect, you don't need to achieve perfection, you don't need to be completely accurate to make a best next move. Just a move is good enough. And in these environments, be fast is better than not moving, even if it is perfect. So, That's why, having this 80-20 mentality is very critical for finance professionals when we work in the digital environment. But having this 80-20 approach actually forces you to make decisions faster and with much less information than you would in normal circumstances have. No? And in that angle, actually, what the CMA was helping me a lot was to make use of the technologies, of the tools, of the ways how you can solve and how you can give financial solutions to business problems. I had actually learned a lot. I studied in ICADE, so some of you know what it is. So I studied law and I studied business administration simultaneously. I learned a lot. I learned a lot of theory, but actually it was only the CMA what helped me realize how to apply it. And I can tell you very clearly that if I would have known earlier how to apply it, I would have done it, and I would have advanced much faster. But hey, it was 2013 when I did it, and it's better late than never. So as I said, so simplification and added value, it's absolutely critical to remain relevant in a very fast environment. Now the second element I mentioned about was differentiation. And differentiation is also quite important if you want to remain relevant. Let me go a little bit in my background. It was, I think, around 2000 when I actually left Spain. I went to Germany, as I said, and you can imagine, I'm from León. I go to Germany. My German is not, it's not fluent by far. My English is a little bit crooked. And I'm there, and I'm in a German culture. I was working in Siemens here, and I went to the headquarters over there. And I can tell you, it was not easy. And I had a lot of thoughts, and I had a lot of ideas, but how do you express it? And what happened was something very funny, because of the fact that I had learned the 2 degrees here, and because of a rare combination in German culture, they actually admire quite a lot people that have degrees, but not any degree, university degrees. Yeah. So that's why in Germany I knew and I saw that my manager and my peers were giving me the space and the time to express myself. So actually at that time what I learned was very soon 2 things. The one is that when you have a degree, when you have an education, people around you can interpret and can allocate to that degree much more than just the title is giving up, right? So in this case, the Germans were actually thinking, yeah, she has attended university, she has 2 degrees, she has something that we should listen to say, yeah, that we should listen to. In the case of CMA, when you are learning a CMA, this is also saying something to people around you. They are telling everyone that you are fast in thinking, that you know how to apply economic and apply financial acumen to real-life problems, that you can give a financial solution to business solutions. And it can give you also another edge, actually, and that is that you need to understand, and that is something I learned later in my career, that when headhunters actually are searching for senior finance professionals, they ask everyone, they have your job specs, and they have mandatory requirements, and they have also nice to have requirements. And for very senior roles in finance profession, for sure, they have a CMA, a CPA, ACCA, and the sort. Now, in my case, why did I choose? Because at the time, and it was in 2011, at my time when I was choosing, I was actually with so many acronyms and being Spaniard, and at the time I was searching for a certification that could give me the internationalization, because I was always explaining what a licenciatura was, right? And then, the reality is that I was searching for a certification that was in English, that was well recognized, that was actually short in time and in my control. That if I could put more effort and more time, if I could have that, I could shorten the period to get it. And I was actually searching for management accountant. So how management, how finance actually can help the business making better decisions. And with my CMA, actually, that is all of this I actually found. I've never regretted that. And I know that in Spain, actually, there is a lot of a very high unemployment rate. And I actually know also that many financial professionals have one degree, a second degree, and even MBAs. Now I can tell you that if I would be, or I am also in Amsterdam, right, where I'm living now, if I'm hiring for a finance professional, what makes the edge is a finance certification. I can tell you I have a master in IT myself as well, and I've never used it. I don't think that is adding anything when I'm searching for my next role. Now, what I said also is the third element, to realize and to see how to remain relevant is to be open and to open doors. Now, here I would like really to share a little bit of my experience as well, because you can see for the way I'm talking about the CMA, I'm very enthusiastic about it, and when I did it, I was also very enthusiastic. I was always thinking, okay, how is it possible I didn't do it earlier? And that brought me to IMA, the association, and that brought me to the strategic finance and to the CPEs and to the continuous learning and continuous being, updated in the financial, acumen. Now that brought me to the next step, and one day I was receiving a mail, and that mail was IMA, and they were asking for nominations or to be part of the global board of directors, and I opened a door. I sent my candidature, and that was actually the door. Actually, that opened many other opportunities, because from that mail, I was part of the board of regents. I was serving in the board of regents for 3 years. I was very honored to be part of the next iteration of the CMA curricula, and I can tell you that there is very kind of intensely engaged people just thinking about what is the future for the profession. Beyond that, obviously, I also met wonderful professionals, very smart people, and actually from there, which was where I was opening as a door, what brought me as a surprise was actually, now I have experience as non-executive director, which is actually opening me new opportunities. And I also, I was honored actually to be nominated for the, by IMA, to be part of the PIPE in the, it's a business, it's a committee, it's an advisory committee for the International Federation of Accountants, which was actually, IMA was helping me in the application, IMA was helping me also in the interview process, and we will hear something in, if it was successful in September. So we have talked about how the life around us is changing, how this is going to change, and is forcing us, the finance professionals, to change as well. And I have tried to tell you through my experience how finance can remain relevant in the new economy. Now I would like to keep and to come back to Michelle Obama, because Michelle really is a force for education. And what she says is that with education, actually, you have all the elements that you need to rise above all noise and fulfill every last of your dreams. With that, I would like to stop here. Thank you very much.